Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into one of TV's most unforgettable and, let's be honest, most controversial characters ever, Dexter Morgan. Yeah, the serial killer we all kind of found ourselves rooting for. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll look at how this perfect monster was created, dig into Harry's code that made him an icon, and then, we have to talk about that first ending, the lumberjack. From there, we'll jump into the 10-year wait for new blood, the, let's call it, final betrayal, and finally, try to make sense of Dexter's complicated legacy. Okay, so first up, the perfect monster's creation. Who is Dexter Morgan? To get this, you have to go back to the beginning, back to 2006 when the show just blew everyone away. At its core, it's about a man born from just absolute horror. I mean, imagine being 3 years old and watching your own mother get murdered with a chainsaw. That's where Dexter's story begins. So, that trauma, it basically split him in two. During the day, you've got Dexter Morgan, the kinda awkward but brilliant blood spatter guy for Miami Metro. He's hiding right there in plain sight. But when the sun goes down, that's when his dark passenger, as he calls it, gets to drive. He becomes this incredibly methodical hunter, a vigilante channeling all those dark urges into taking out other killers, the ones who slipped through the cracks of the justice system. Now, how does a serial killer become a protagonist? Well, it's all because of this one thing, Harry's code. See, his adoptive dad, Harry, was a cop. He saw the darkness in Dexter. He knew this kid had these tendencies. But instead of trying to fix him, he did something wild. He gave him a set of rules, a way to channel that darkness into something, well, something he called good. And the code is deceptively simple, right? Rule 1, never get caught. Rule 2, never kill an innocent. And rule 3, the big one, your victims have to be guilty killers themselves. These 3 rules, this was Dexter's entire universe. It's the moral tightrope the whole show walks. It's the reason we, the audience, could somehow justify what he was doing and see him as this weird, twisted kind of hero. It was his way of putting a leash on the monster inside. So, you've got this killer with a code. And this concept, a serial killer that you're actually supposed to root for, it was a game changer. Dexter became a massive hit, both with critics and audiences. This wasn't just your average cop show, not by a long shot. It was this dark, super tense, and surprisingly funny psychological deep dive. And when I say a hit, I mean a monster hit. At its peak, the show's ratings were just through the roof. I mean, look at this. The season 4 finale pulled in 2.6 million viewers. If you remember that season with John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer, my God, it was appointment television. It was a genuine cultural moment that put Dexter in the TV Hall of Fame for sure. And it wasn't just about the numbers. The critics loved it too. It was drowning in awards, Golden Globes, Emmys, you name it. A huge part of that, you have to admit, was Michael C. Hall's performance. He pulled off this insane balancing act, playing a cold, detached killer who you somehow felt for. He made a monster feel relatable, and in some twisted way, really human. But then came the end. After 8 incredible seasons, the show's original run didn't end with a bang. It ended with, well, a collective what? From pretty much everyone watching. The finale wasn't just controversial. For a lot of people, it was a disaster. So what happened? Instead of facing the music or getting some kind of meaningful ending, Dexter fakes his own death, leaves his son behind, and becomes a lumberjack in Oregon. Yeah, a lumberjack. For so many fans, this wasn't just a bad ending. It felt like a complete betrayal of everything the character had been through. That lumberjack ending, it just left this awful taste in everyone's mouth. It felt like the showrunners owed the fans something more. And for years, that question just lingered. Could a show with such a perfect run have its legacy saved from such a terrible ending? And then, almost a decade goes by, and Showtime does the impossible. They announce a revival. Dexter New Blood, and the promise was simple. We're going to give this story the real ending it always deserved. So New Blood was all about redemption, right? A chance to fix that lumberjack mess. We catch up with Dexter living this quiet life under a new name in some tiny town covered in snow. His dark passenger has been quiet for 10 years. But, of course, the past never stays buried, and it comes knocking in the form of his son, Harrison, who is now a teenager. But here's the thing, that new finale in 2022, it didn't fix things. In fact, it might have made them worse. It didn't unite the fans, it split them right down the middle and sparked a whole new, even angrier debate. Many felt like they'd been let down all over again. So what was the problem? It all comes down to one moment. Dexter, backed into a corner, completely desperate, does the one thing he was never, ever supposed to do. He shatters the code. He breaks rule number 2. For the very first time, he knowingly, intentionally kills a truly innocent person. Not just anyone, but a good cop who thought Dexter was his friend. And the fan reaction was explosive. People were furious. Just look at this comment. Dexter would never kill a police officer. Horrible ending. Completely against everything that defines Dexter. You see, for 8 seasons, the whole point was that he was a monster with a code. But in that 1 second, a lot of viewers felt he just became a monster. Period. And that one act leads directly to the end. The real end. His son, Harrison, finds out and confronts him. And in that moment, it's like Dexter finally sees it all. The whole cycle of violence he's created. He realizes he's no better than the monsters on his table. And in this incredibly tragic, poetic moment, he accepts his fate. He lets his own son kill him. But even that powerful idea didn't land for a lot of people. The problem wasn't just what happened, but how. This other comment really sums it up. The whole finale felt rushed, senseless, and emotionless. For so many, this huge climactic moment felt totally unearned and hollow. It left them even more angry than the first time around. So, where does that leave us? After 2, not 1, but 2 super controversial endings, what do we even make of Dexter Morgan's legacy? It feels like the show left us with way more questions than answers. And the debate is still going strong. How do you see him? Is he an anti-hero, a dark knight doing the dirty work the justice system couldn't handle? Or was he just a straight-up villain, using his code as an excuse to kill? Or maybe it's all a tragedy. Maybe he was just a victim of trauma who never stood a chance at being normal. And here's the craziest part. Despite all the controversy over the endings, the Dexter universe is still growing. There are new spin-offs in the works. It just goes to show you, no matter how much people argue about the destination, the character and his world made a permanent mark on culture. Ultimately, Dexter's whole story pushes us to ask some really tough questions. Can someone who's been through that kind of trauma ever really heal? Or is the darkness he lives with just bound to take over? It leaves us with that one haunting idea that's been there from the very beginning. Can a monster actually bring about justice? Or, in the end, does the darkness always win?